the man on pole, Mark Scaife, the Winfield Commodore, Glenn Seaton alongside of him. Pace car pulls to the pits. John Bow pulls back and lets them run at the front as they come across the strike. Scaife nobbles them completely into the first turn. He gets in here with the two PJ Falcons, second and third, so Jones sits right in behind him. Perkins is the next one, followed by Mazera, and they head up to the hairpin for the first time. Here we go.
Very tight and competitive at the front of the pack. Top 11 cars covered by less than 1 second. This is vital points for these guys. Larry Perkins moves up on the outside of Alan Jones. He's going to squeeze in for space as AJ follows Seaton round. It's going to be a drag race up the back straight for the first time. Larry Perkins and Alan Jones locked together as they come through this 250-kilometre-an-hour sweeper.
Here comes Perkins. Got the inside.
Glenn Seaton's going to argue. He goes deep under brakes. Larry tries to hold him out. Seaton, everything under brakes as they come into this new, wider part of the circuit. You can see the extension out the side of the track there.
Look at him try. Jones there was trying to get up on the inside to keep Perkins out, but he was unable to do it.
Meanwhile, Mark Scaife scampering away at the front. He's got 3, 4, 5 car lengths on him as they come through for the second time. Glenn Seaton, Larry Perkins, Alan Jones, Thomas, and John Bow pushed back from provisional pole to 6th. Taps onto the back.
If I was Glenn Seaton looking for a good start in the first of the two heats this afternoon, I think I'd even let Larry Perkins pass.
Well, Larry's having a major go here again. He's not mucking about.
The wrong way.
There's STP race cam as we ride with Glenn Seaton. The gap has already opened up to our race leader, Mark Scaife. There's Seaton running in second spot, and John Bow doing a good job. He's already passed Thomas Mazera. And here's Glenn Seaton under pressure now from Larry Perkins going down the outside of him into the next left-hander.
Larry might try coming in on the inside now. Here he goes. Yes, hadn't thought about it. But a tight left-hander swoops past onto the pit straight now. Extremely fast on this part of the circuit. About 2 to 3 feet wider.
1 lap to go. Mark Scaife clear and opening that advantage over Glenn Seaton, Perkins, Alan Jones, John Bow gaining on them, and Thomas Mazera fading to last.
Interesting as they come down to the hairpin this time. JB's a bit closer to Alan Jones as they come under brakes. Larry Perkins covering his ground. Holding forward.
Easy on the brakes there, Larry, right on Glenn Seaton's bumper bar. Power oversteer, hitting it.
Larry gives his Dunlop split as he comes out of the hairpin for the final time, trying to get the power down to get a little bit of an aerodynamic advantage on the back of Seaton's car as they come through the sweeper for the last time.
Looks like that's possibly the way they're going to finish. They come tearing down to Coca-Cola corner. Here comes Bow up on the inside of Jones. Scaife is clear as they go through there. That move didn't work, and the checkered flag is about to come out as Mark Scaife brings them across the line to win the dash. Second goes to Seaton, third to Perkins, fourth to Jones, fifth to Bow, and sixth to Thomas Mazera. Let's go down to Andy Raymond.
Well, thanks a lot. A terrific drive from Mark Scaife. Gee, pulling number one's handy.
Well, it is here because it's such a close gap from the start to the first corner. So I knew if we could get number one, we've got to be half a chance, and Glenn wasn't too far behind.
How more difficult is it going to be when it's a standing start and it's a field of 16?
Well, I'd say there'd be a bit of chaos down there, actually. But, you know, if we can get to the lead and not have too much drama, we'll be all right.
Mark from the start. Big crowd at Symmons Plains. Scaife squaring off against Glenn Seaton, and they are side by side off the line heading down to the first corner, and this is a brand spanking new start line at Symmons Plains, and Scaife will get there first. Right behind him goes Seaton. Jones is the next, then followed by Larry Perkins and John Bow away to a reasonably good start as they come tearing up here towards the hairpin.
Great start from John Bow. He managed to keep the car clean. There he is in fifth position, so no rubbing guards as we had at Sandown in that first corner, so JB's in a position to fight back as they come through this first hectic lap. A nice clean start through that first corner. Mark Scaife leads them out of the hairpin for the first time. Glenn Seaton in second position, Alan Jones in third, then it's Larry Perkins, then it's Bow, then the first of the Holden Racing Team cars as they come through this first lap.
Well, nice warm-up here because they were fed up with themselves after that terrible start at Sandown where everybody bounced themselves around the first corner. We've got a race on our hands here now.
They come out of the bottom turn, Coca-Cola corner. Scaife leads them for the completion of the first. And sitting right in his draft as they come along the short chute is Glenn Seaton. His teammate Alan Jones is one back, then followed by Perkins. Bow is next. Then Peter Brock clear of Neil Crompton, who's got up in front of Wayne Gardner and Dick Johnson, who has really been out of sorts here so far this weekend. Qualified poorly, while Bow was just the opposite.
Nothing in it between Scaife and Seaton. They both got off the line very nicely. I think Seaton's just sitting here, quite happy to watch Scaife here at the moment.
Thomas Mazira. An appalling start from Thomas, who was up there in the top 6, but he's out to 11th spot in the completion of the first lap. He's got a lot of work to do, and in fact was very sideways out of that hairpin. But Scaife showing his class. Crikey, as this Winfield Commodore got some poke in a straight line.
John Bowers just talking about the tailwind now, getting an extra diff ratio in the car because it's right on the rev limit. They're going very, very quickly down that back straight, probably in excess of 270 kilometres an hour. But look at Larry Perkins now, putting... just being disposed by John Bauer. Bauer's making the charge up through the field, so it's Holden, 3 Falcons and another Commodore.
There'll be hair up on the back of John Bauer after a poor qualifier, or a crook draw, I should say, for the Dash this morning. But he certainly had a car yesterday that was the class of the field, able to run 0.4 of a second faster than Mark Scaife. And Scaife is not getting away from Glenn Seaton.
No, I think he's really just getting shadowed there. Seaton knows he's in the slipstream. He'd like to be a little bit closer. Lots of speed in a straight line from the Winfield car. But at least we haven't had a repeat of Sandown. There's Alan Jones pulling out, having a go at Glenn.
SDP race cam aboard Glenn Seaton, and there he goes. Alan Jones, his teammate, sneaks through on the inside as they come up toward the braking area once again. Glenn's going to hold his ground. There's not going to be too much... oh, you can see a big brake lock up there. The thing's getting pretty rough as they come onto this wider circuit.
Here's
back onto the pit straight, so Jonesy will live to fight another day. But look at John Bauer. This is the man who had so much speed in qualifying. He's got a great set of tyres on the car. He's got a lot of confidence in the race setup. And boy, it's showing here now.
And Larry Perkins is right behind them in that draft in case anything goes wrong. Scaife, in the meantime, is able to pull away because these guys are all gouging between themselves.
Top 11 cars covered by less than 1 second in qualifying, and the top 13 under Dick Johnson's 2-year-old lap record. 1.5 seconds faster around here this year.
Well, you remember that John Bauer elected to start off the back of the grid with a penalty at Sandown last weekend in the second heat, testing tires, and here we have the Dunlops that they've elected to run this weekend, serving them well. I don't think John Bauer's finished with his escalation through this field yet.
Now he needs a fair shot at these two Peter Jackson cars in front of him. Let's try the first one down the inside under brakes. But Jonesy cuts that option off immediately. There's Scaife getting away, then Seaton, followed by Jones. Next is Bauer and Larry Perkins, 5th on the queue.
Potential. They're going to have these guys fighting amongst themselves to just give Scaife those nice clean laps out at the front. He opens up the gap, and boy, he's getting a big gap in the points. Scaife currently leading on 89 points compared to Peter Brock on 47. A big gap in the points. They really need someone to get up here today.
Not too much in the time so far. A 55.63 to Scaife last time by. A 55.65 to Glenn Seaton.
Here's John Bauer having another fade, just letting Alan Jones know that he's there. He's certainly there. Look at that on the bumper bar of the PJ Falcon. Might be in the slipstream now.
He's got to wind it up. As he said before the race start, they've had to go up a sprocket.
That'll help him towards the end of this straight, where his engine's still pulling him along. Look at him gathering up the PJ car here.
Lap 4 of 26. Here's the battle for outright. Scaife leaves through, then Seaton, and Alan Jones coming under increasing pressure from John Bauer.
Nothing in it really between second, third, fourth, and fifth.
Rocky's done a good job. He's moved up closer to the tail of Larry Perkins, taken Neil Crompton along, and the Coca-Cola Commodore behind him. As we follow this fascinating dice for second spot as Bauer makes a charge at them.
Great battle amongst the tyre companies once again. Yokohama leading the scrap, and there's 2 Bridgestone-mounted Falcons, then the first, the Dunlop Fords, and Larry Perkins with the Dunlop Holden. So a great mix, Alan.
Yes, they certainly have got a war on their hands, and all the tire companies are fighting extremely hard. And as we mentioned, some testing at Sandown by the Shell team, and it's paying dividends here. There's nothing really in it here. We've got a number of laps to go. Tires just nicely warmed up. Everybody in it, I think they're probably just shadowing each other a little bit.
Larry Perkins and the Castrol Commodore.
Watch them through this corner now. Scaife was coming through there yesterday with that inside front wheel off the ground for must have been almost 100 metres.
It's interesting because the temperatures are so cold here at Symmons Plains. A lot of the teams have been having trouble getting the right temperature into their tyres. And you get this unusual, they've got a very soft setup in the rear and very stiff in the front to try and make the front tyres work. And they're getting some extraordinary angles coming through that corner. So Scaife starting to open up the lead over Glenn Seaton. Alan Jones in third, John Bauer in fourth. And there's a little gap back to Larry Perkins as they come through the hairpin once again.
Bauer just can't quite capitalize on that closing maneuver. The Peter Jackson cars are still fast on the back straight.
I noticed dropping down off that top 10 is Wayne Gardner in the Coca-Cola number 4 machine. Haven't spotted him. He may be in a some problems in the pits.
John Boward really want to win this race, and
There he
there's
is.
Wayne Gardner, yep, in trouble. Not looking particularly happy, as you would expect. Out of the race very, very early. I think he's undoing his harnesses.
Here we go, Mark Scaife. Left-hander.
Seton Jones and John Boward. Then it's Peter Brock who's moved up one spot on Larry Perkins.
So the guy's running around about 1.5 seconds slower than their ultimate qualifying pace.
In fact, Perkins has dropped back almost into the clutches of Neil Crompton, who's looking at him on the inside in the Coca-Cola number 7 machine as they come up to the hairpin again. But Brocky doing a good job picking the threads up. He wasn't satisfied entirely with his qualifying yesterday, but did mention at the Shell press conference after qualifying that he had a good race package.
Still no shortage of grunt from the Holden V8 there. Larry Perkins running in a Chevy Sandwich, and he's certainly hanging on. Very quick in qualifying too. Very fast on Friday and Saturday morning. Finished up with 3rd provisional time.
I tell you what, Crompton's done a tremendous job. He locked one up on the way in, running that fairly rich.
Brakes going to be a big factor here towards the end of this heat. It's a hard circuit on brakes here. This left-hander.
Wayne Gardner's still in the pits. Let's go down to Andy.
Yeah, Wayne Gardner won't be back out there in this race, Wayne. You just lost oil pressure.
Yeah, I was staying behind Neil there, and I just looked down at the tacho and oil alarm was on saying 0 oil pressure, so there's nothing I could do. I just had to pull in, and they said that it's probably finished for the day, unfortunately.
Do you know exactly what happened?
No, I don't know. I mean, I can only go by the dials, and it just said oil pressure 0, so it's a big disappointment, you know, because we've been going well here.
Bad luck, Wayne. I guess we'll have to sit here and watch Neil for the rest of the day.
Yeah, well, I just hope he does well, that's all.
Thanks, Andy. Wayne Gardner, bit of a slump there for his team, because he looked pretty good here yesterday.
They're getting their engines from the Holden Racing team. They had a few dramas with their engines since the season started. I certainly hope that sorts itself out before the championship gets too old. Let's look at the gap in this wide shot. Mark Scaife just opening up probably by 1/10 of a second or so. Glenn Seaton follows him through. Teammate Alan Jones in 3rd. John Boward in 4th. Peter Brock, Larry Perkins, Neil Crompton, and there's Dick Johnson. So good mix of Ford and Holdens here, but you can see that Scaife just has this edge.
He's got a good edge, Mark, and honestly, if John Boward doesn't start capitalizing shortly, I'm afraid he's doomed to that position.
Now, Thomas Mazzera was a guy who qualified. He was very quick here throughout the week, and he has just fallen to nowhere. I can't even see him on our monitors at the moment, so I don't know where Thomas has got to.
He's very deep in the pack, back in company with Dick Johnson.
Oh, look, he's had a dent in the door there. Fair bit of panel damage on the inside of the Commodore. So we'll no doubt get to the bottom of that between races.
Scaife looking very comfortable. You notice him taking every inch of the road right up to the white line, blowing plenty of dust over there on the new construction area.
And Scaife, the class of 94 in this number 2 Winfield Commodore, has dominated the opening 2 rounds of the championship. On the Dasso, he looks like he's trying to make it all 3. Bauer made that early insurgence, but it's been handled by Alan Jones at this stage of the race. There's Scaife screaming along the back straightaway.
Big braking effort at the end of that straight. The cars are traveling at considerable speed. Here we have a stat on Mark.
Well, we all know about Mark Scaife. Only very, very young driver. He won Bathurst 1000 in 91, 92. Touring car champ of Australia in 92. Sandown 500 in 89. Australia's Drivers' Championship in the Formula Brothers 91 and 92. And 93 ATCC position was 6th. And Mark Scaife might have been 6th in 1993, but 94 is a whole new storybook for him.
Looking awfully good. Beautifully prepared cars. Freddie Gibson's team work extremely hard. You can't win if you're not circulating, and if you're circulating out in front, it certainly helps.
It sure does.
Lap 11 of 20. We've just gone half distance. Mark Scaife still in control. The 2 Peter Jackson Fords hounding him, but there doesn't seem to be much they can do about it at this stage.
Coming down to Coca-Cola corner. Seaton goes in, and that gap is out to probably 3 or 4 car lengths. John Boward, then Peter Brock. Gives you an idea of the hump just opposite the new pit area. Done a lot of work here at Symmons Plains. Fabulous job.
If you look at the lap times of Mark Scaife, he's just in the high 55s, 55.7, 55.8. A lot of the other guys into the 56s, so he's holding this 3 or 4 tenths of a second advantage over them. If they can maintain that, there's not going to be much they can do about it.
Well, his last lap was a 55.34. That is very, very quick indeed. Let's check out how they're running on our Shell race score. Heat number 1. Mark Scaife, as it's been so far this season, and the Winfield Commodore leads over Glenn Seaton's Peter Jackson Falcon. Alan Jones is in 3rd, John Bowen 4th, and Peter Brock is 5th. Plains, Dick Johnson, car number 17, the Shell FAI Falcon. Running at 8th spot at the moment in the field. I mentioned earlier, not the happiest of weekends for Dick. Qualified poorly yesterday, whereas team partner John Bowe was the fastest of the fleet. And today he's running back in 8th. He's improved just a couple. But then again, Wayne Gardner's out, so he picked that one up a little easier. And there's Johnson carrying our Dunlop race cam.
Twitching the wheel. Nursing it through every little corner. Here we have the onboard telemetry. In 3rd gear through the left-hander. Accelerating up. 5, 6, 7. Should go off about now, just before 7.5. Up to almost 200k already on the approach to the hairpin. Watch for the gearbox to go down here. 3, 2. Sharp left-hander. Big turn on the wheel. Engine goes down. Again. Great Ford V8 giving it a nice purr there. Come on, Dick, stay on it. 250 down the back straight, just tapping the brakes there. He's not slowing the car down. He's just making sure the brake pedal comes up so that when he hits it hard on this left-hander at the end of the back straight, he's got security of motion.
And Thomas Mazzera
having a look.
He's on a major charge through the field. He cleans him up very nicely on the inside as they come onto pit straight once again.
Good move there by Thomas. But Tony's done well with only 3 races under his belt. Can't expect him to be at the front of the field in such a short period of time.
Brand new car built in only 8 weeks at the beginning of the season, only ready just before Amaroo Park, running one of Larry Perkins' development Chevrolet engines. And boy, Tony said that he's done more track work in the last few weeks just trying to sort out to get the car set up right.
Yes, well, with the higher weight, it'll be heavier than what he's been used to driving his little BMW last year. But he'll come to grips and watch this car perform by the time we finish the championship at Gota Bathurst.
Sitting just ahead of them is Neil Crompton, car number 7, the Coca-Cola machine. Was up a couple of spots earlier, but has gone back to 7th on the road, and they are gaining on Neil. There's Neil, car number 7.
Been a character-building season for these two, Neil Crompton and Wayne Gardner. Another team set up very late in the piece, and they turned it around in about 13 weeks, which was quite a remarkable effort.
Getting one car to the start line is a tough job, Mark. Getting 2 of them and getting them 2 prepared exactly the way each driver wants them. Great demands on the team, and everybody has to have a teething period. And,
yeah.
And I wouldn't.
They've had a few engine problems, as Wayne alluded to earlier on, and getting into a development phase with Dunlop, as we take Dunlop race cam once again with Dick Johnson's car.
Yeah, so Thomas has already made that chart, so he is going after them. He's looking for a 6th spot perhaps in the field today. There's Mazzera stretching out from Dick Johnson. Next port of call will be the Coca-Cola Commodore. 8 laps to go as Mark Scaife comes sizzling across the line here. That gap constant back to Glenn Seaton and Alan Jones. Peter Brock is up 1 behind John Bowe, and here's Thomas Mazzera. There's a great shot as they come through this very fast corner past the new pits.
Scaife leading by just over 3 seconds now, opening it up all the time. We've got a clear race setup advantage here.
Alan, you made the point earlier, it's quite an achievement to get 1 car to the line in touring car racing. 2 is very, very difficult. And I guess when you look at Mark Scaife and Jim Richards, there is an enormous difference apparently between their cars. I can't believe Jim's gone off the boiler that he's driving. You've got Mark Scaife at the front of the field as he's been all season, and Jim Richards languishing, you could say, back in a 10th or 11th spot. The PJ cars are running 2nd and 3rd. The 2 Holden Racing Team cars of Brock and Mazzera are usually very, very close.
Exactly, yeah.
So that's a huge disparity between the leading Fred Gibson car and the 2nd.
Well, we can only assume that Fred Gibson is elected, or with Mark, to do some development work on the number 2 car, and perhaps just checking to see that it's going to be fine before they transfer those goodies to Jim's car.
I think Jim would be waiting for the goodies any time now. There goes Scaife. He exits that corner, and going into that turn just before I noticed Alan Jones slip down the inside of Glenn Seaton. So he's taken over second spot. Seaton back to third. Bowers fourth. Brock is fifth. Perkins sixth. And Crompton is seventh. Yes. There's Alan Jones going through in the 30 car. Behind him, Glenn Seaton. Keeping in mind, we said in the scene setup of today's broadcast, Jones, of course, won both heats here last year.
He certainly has. He has a good feel for this place. He likes it. He did a very good job in qualifying yesterday, and is at home here today in front of the boss.
These three getting bunched up a little bit more now. Alan Jones leads them through. Glenn Seaton and John Bow still hanging on to the back of them as we take STP race cam aboard Seaton's car, looking down toward his teammate Alan Jones as they head down to the hairpin once again, sucking on his drink straw. And it won't be quite as hot work out there today. This icy wind blowing across Symmons Plains. Lap times of the leaders drifted out to 56.7, 56.8 for Mark Scaife. Still controlling the pace from the front.
Glenn certainly knows he's got a yellow car in his rearview mirror.
And look at this, here's Mazera now up looking for seventh spot. Sits on the tail of Neil Crompton and the Coca-Cola Commodore. Right in the draft here. We'll try and get across to the inside.
Nice comparison of straight line speed. Crompton boxes him in. Keep in mind these cars are both using the same engines. So Thomas trying to push his way past the car 7. Crompton on Dunlop tyres. Thomas using Bridgestones. As they sweep onto the straight, you can see that's a much faster corner now as they've given them a bit more hot mix to play with. They really fly past this new pit facility.
5 laps to go. Heat number 1 today.
Mazera certainly giving Crompton the rear view mirror treatment, that zigzag routine. He doesn't really need to do that. He's just trying to unnerve Neil, let him know he's there, trying to intimidate him, to give him a go. It's not Neil's place to pull over and let him pass.
No way.
Absolutely not.
Now, you'll notice Crompton was hugging the inside, heading into the hairpin. He'll try and sit probably at about the middle of the road here, then cover the left-hand side of the road from the sweeper down to Coca-Cola corner.
And if he didn't do that, Mike, the team manager should and would give him something to think about.
4 laps to go. Mark Scaife just crosses the start-finish line. We're watching the battle for 7th and 8th here. Neil Crompton leading Thomas Mazera as Thomas comes through the pack. Just got caught up in that first corner somewhere. You can see the damage to the door. And he got shuffled back about a dozen places at the start. He's had to work his way through.
Mazera won't be forgetting his last lap at Sandown.
Here we go again with Glenn Seaton.
Look at Bow.
Bow right up here.
Going to take advantage of this one.
Tap.
Won't be the first time John Bow and
Peter Brock coming up the inside too. So they've all bunched up at the last minute. He just sticks the nose of the Mobile Commodore up the inside of John Bow. They're side by side. They try and pick their way through the Peter Jackson. Oh, very, very close there.
I'd say Jones got a problem.
Yes.
Jones with a problem. Seaton was able to escape from that and put a little distance between himself. They'll have 3 laps to go as Scaife goes across the line now. It's out by about 12 car lengths to Glenn Seaton. John Bow, fabulous job up to 3rd. Brocky's 4th. An engine misfire in the Jones car, and he'll probably be gobbled up here by Larry Perkins. And Mazera, who has just got round the outside of Crompton.
Mark Scaife's lead out to 5.8 seconds. So while all this is going on, he's opening up his lead. Yeah, Alan Jones slipping further and further down the field.
Well, John Bow did a good job there. He almost got nailed by Peter Brock, and Brocky not letting up here, right on the back door of the Falcon coming through the hairpin.
Lap 23 of 26. We've got 3 more to go. Mark Scaife leads the race. Glenn Seaton now in 2nd position. John Bow in 3rd. Peter Brock in 4th. Alan Jones slipping back into 5th, and Larry Perkins in 6th.
Let's not forget they start the next heat in order of the way they finish this race. So everybody very conscious of their finishing positions now.
John Bow, I think, would be delighted with 3rd. That'll give him the inside of the 2nd row for the 2nd heat. That's right behind Mark Scaife. Not a bad spot rather than being caught on the outside, and Brocky would be well aware of that.
Well, John Bow can get up to 2nd position in this heat and then win the final one. Would be a good thing for him. And get those vital championship points.
Well, this race continues with about a lap and a half remaining, and Alan Jones, who had a misfire, heading down towards the pits. He's not going to finish this one. There's the exit point of Glenn Seaton running in 2nd, 3rd, John Bow. 4th is Brocky doing a fabulous job in the Telecom Mobile Net car. He's been able to come right up onto the tail here as we take Johnson. He was under a little bit of pressure here from Tony Longhurst, who pulls up alongside in the Benson and Hedges V8 Commodore. He's done a great job, Tony, getting to grips with the 5-litre. But Johnson, look at the horsepower here as they come down to the sweeper. One lap to go for Mark Scaife, but these are side by side.
Different sort of world for Tony. A right-hand drive car. He's been driving a left-hander for about the last 5 years. Still trying to pick up the apexes of the corners. It's a very different sort of car to drive. And now he's battling hand-to-hand with Dickie Johnson in the Falcon. But here's our leader, Mark Scaife. Lead just stabilising about 5.6 seconds on the last lap. Scaife really does have a fabulous race package. They've shown it at Emerald Park. They've shown it at Sandown, and they've shown it here too. Doesn't matter whether it's a fast or a slow track. These Winfield Commodores have got the edge on the rest of the field. There's no doubt about it.
He's not hurting his car either at all, Mark. He's really finessing it through this heat, and I'm sure it will be in top shape for the next run.
Coming down to Coca-Cola Corner now for the final time. There's a great scrap behind him, but as he comes out down the pit lane, checkered flag is out. Mark Scaife is going to go on and win Heat 1 today at Symmons Plains. He gets across the line with headlights blazing. Seaton's across, bow, so it's a forward second, a forward third, and Peter Brock finishes fourth in a Holden. So Holden's 1 and 4 in Heat number 1 today at Symmons Plains. Well done, Mark Scaife. Deserving victory. He is the class act of touring car racing in this country. So let's check out the top 10 for you. Mark Scaife, a moral victory. Boy, haven't the rest got some work to do. Glenn Seaton finishes in second. John Bowe third. Peter Brock a great fourth. Larry Perkins finished fifth in the Castrol Commodore. 6 spot.
Welcome back to Symmons Plains. It's 5 from 5. Congratulations, Mark Scaife.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. Obviously, the car's fantastic. The tyres were hung in really well, and we were lucky enough to get a little break at the start, so it was great for us.
Conditions are completely different from what we've experienced in the last 2 weeks. How's that tailwind down the back straightaway?
Well, I would say the car's probably 5 or 6 k's faster down the back straight, which means you can't stop in the same places we used to stop. So it took a couple of laps to get used to how quick the car was down there.
The other guys want the wind speed to keep up to about 10 or 12 so they can keep up with you. It's great for you guys to have a good start to the season after last year.
Well, you know, we went well at the end of the Touring Car Championship last year. The car was competitive. We led most of Bathurst, and we've started the year very well. So, you know, the guys have worked hard, and the package is very good.
Congratulations, a very happy Mark Scaife.
Thank you, Andy. Well, Mark's not really at the back of the field, but he sits there, just looks rather forlorn about the whole thing. Is my old buddy Dick Johnson. What are you going to do about this heat?
No, Mike, it's going to be a bit of humour, I think.
Is there any humour left in your body today?
Mate, if the moment I haven't got any humour left, mate, is the day I'll die.
Oh, we said earlier that you didn't look the happiest chappy yesterday after qualifying, and I know that you wanted to do a little better than you've been able to achieve so far this weekend. What's been the major problem?
Well, Mike, I'm always happy. It's just that you get disappointed every now and then. I think everything's so close at the front, like half a second can drop you from third on the grid to 10th on the grid. So, you know, it's just one of those little things that unless you qualify well, you really got your back against the wall.
Expecting a big start from you, are we here?
Well, I tell you what, if I can get a decent start, I'll give them something for a while anyway.
Oh, we'll follow you. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Mike.
Us move into position now. Mark Scaife and Glenn Seaton sharing the front row for Heat 2 this afternoon at Symmons Plains. Start will be critical for Scaife. The second row has John Bowe ready to accelerate. 4 seconds, 3, 2, 1, ready to fire, go! And off the starting line, Scaife pulls the next best gear and will just nose in front. John Bowe gets up very smartly here on the inside of Peter Brock and will take third as they exit that turn. Force Brock a little on the wide side as they come through the bottom turn now, make their way to the hairpin. Scaife's in control. Second is Seaton, third is John Bowe, next is Brock, Larry Perkins follows, and they're up to the hairpin.
That is just incredible, the speed Scaife's got off the start line. He pulled 2 or 3 car lengths on him down the straight for the first time. Phenomenal thing out of the slow corners. Off the start line, he really does have a remarkable package.
You know, he had a great start, Mark, and I think really the compliments to their engine builders. They've got a torque capacity that snaps them away in the low gears.
So Scaife leads him through the first time. Then it's Glenn Seaton, the man who launched off the first row, but not quite fast enough. Then John Bowe. Peter Brock up there in 4th position. Good run from Brocky in the Holden Racing Team Commodore as they come through for the first time. There's Larry Perkins in the first of the Holden Engine Commodores. Neil Crompton Thomas Mazzera and Tony Longhurst as they come across the start-finish line for the second time.
John Bow getting a little bit closer this time to Glenn Seaton. He can't really afford to sit there. Wants to try and pass Seaton. Brock sits in his draft. Perkins is next as they go beneath our speed camera. That's the forward shot, and they head up to the hairpin, and there they go up to the tight left-hander.
Yeah, a good finish from Brocky in the first heat. He's in there in first spot and not letting John Bow out of his sights now. In fact, he's got plenty of slipstreaming opportunities on this lap.
It's not a really tyre-sensitive circuit, but certainly Yokohama's new B compound tyre has been giving them a winning edge. They've used the same tyre for the first 3 rounds, and isn't it showing some speed here? The outside right rear tyre is the one that really gets loaded up, but everyone seems to be hanging together quite well. Alan Jones changed the tyre in the mid-race session after a problem in the first heat, but that didn't push him down the grid. And he should be on a charge at the moment as he comes through from the back.
There's Scaife with the left front tire up in the air, a soft setting suspension that they've got the rear of the car with soft springs, which allows the weight transfer and hence up off the front wheel on those tight corners.
This is a fabulous shot out of the rear of Glenn Seaton's car. STP race cam. Sitting behind him is John Bow. Then it's Peter Brock. That's the order as they go beneath the Dunlop Bridge and head up once again to the hairpin. Scaife brings that out to probably 4 or 5 car lengths. Bow getting a little more serious about a challenge for second, and it stacks on the mill behind him.
Look at 6th. Yeah, sorry, Michael's going to say 6th position. Neil Crompton, great start from Neil in the Coca-Cola car. Just behind him, Thomas Mazzera, Holden Racing teammate. And look at Tony Longhurst here as Glenn Seaton coming under fire from John Bow on the inside as the 2-shell. Falcon and the STP Waters, they come under brakes. Bow goes deeper, Seaton goes deeper. Seaton's got the best part of the real estate here. He'll lead him through once again. Good challenge from Bow as he comes up the inside. Incredible shots from race cam as Bow takes you through and into second place, and he's in a big chase and he's after Scaife.
Classic maneuver by both drivers. Good move on Glenn Seaton's part, but a better move on John Bow's part.
Look at Peter Brock. He's not getting pushed out of this action. Either's Perkins, either's Crompton. Here comes Thomas Mazzera. There's about 10 of them, bumper to bumper. Dick Johnson picking his way through too, and there's Wayne Gardner fixed the oil pressure problem in that first race. He's back in the battle. So look at them. High-speed train coming down to the hairpin.
Larry Perkins tries just a little inside, a little outside too on Peter Brock up to the hairpin. Crompton's well positioned there in the Coke Commodore, and one back behind him is Thomas Mazzera. As Brocky says, come on, Glenn, you're holding up the whole show, son.
That was a great move.
And Perkins follows, so Glenn trying to get a good start. These guys are running away from Glenn down the back straight, so he's dropped 3 spots as Brock gets serious, and so even more serious is Larry Perkins sitting right beneath the spoiler here of Peter Brock's car.
Just fantastic, the performance is getting out of this Holden V8, the engine that took him to victory at Bathurst last year. No shortage of low-down torque out of these slow corners. Look at the way Larry's car really bites. It gets up behind Brock's car as they head down toward the hairpin once again. Bow follows us under, then Brock, then Perkins. First the Peter Jackson cars, then Crompton. Very, very tight in this second heat.
Nothing in it at all here. Perkins again fading to the right, trying to keep as much real estate in front of him. Brocky's giving him a little trouble there, but you can see right, honestly, almost touching. Very sporting driving, but right in the slipstream. Just wavering every time Brock moves. Perkins follows.
2 former teammates, guys who partnered each other to 3 victories in Bathurst 1,000-kilometre race. Here they are against each other.
2.23 seconds the gap. Scaife over John Bow. We'll monitor that.
Oh, Larry gets very sideways as he snaps the power on, coming on pit straight once again. Scaife scampering away. John Bow in second. Brock covering his ground in third. Then it's Perkins. Then it's Glenn Seaton. The watching brief in fourth.
Larry did.
Sorry, Alan, I was going to say they'll stay at that scrap probably for the entire race. In the meantime, there is the visual gap back from our race leader, Mark Scaife, to John Bow, who's coming on strong. Then there's Brocky, third. Larry Perkins is fourth.
Well, Larry thought he had a tough day's job at Bathurst with Scaife with a Chev-powered engine, and today I'm sure he's making certain that development on his own Chevrolet project gets accelerated over the next few weeks.
They're starting to get away from Glenn Seaton. Look at the gap the second, third and fourth have pulled on Glenn going down to Coca-Cola corner.
We're only at round 3 and Scaife is really scampering away with the championship at the moment. 109 points as Larry just taps onto the back of Brock. He looks pretty close this time as they went out of view there.
Larry really does have that cornering speed, Mark. You can see he closes here. Watch how he's monstering Peter in this corner. But the Chev power in a straight line is keeping Brocky at bay.
There's no doubt that Seaton's going to have to run this one at 9/10. That gap I told you about a few laps back is now down to 2.15 seconds. It's only minimal, but Bow is starting to eat into the lead once again. Larry's got very strong braking in the Castrol Commodore, but Brocky gets away from him as they accelerate out of the hairpin down towards the sweeper. They're both getting away from Glenn Seaton. Seaton will be under even more pressure from some of the other drivers in the next lap or so.
Nice long back straight. Don't worry that these cars aren't moving before they have to hit the anchors here for this left-hander. It's a very challenging circuit. Not very many corners, but each one you have to get the maximum out of it.
Look at this freight train here. Oh,
Neil Crompton heads for the pits.
Crompton into the pits as the rest of them come down, including Paul Morris sitting in behind Tony Longhurst, and they're on the tail of Thomas Mazera. So Neil Crompton comes in. He's had a fine run here today, but it looks like tyres there for Crompton.
Very quick when the car's working right. He was up in the top 6 there for a few laps and unfortunately into the pits. Meanwhile, the race continues, and look at Tony Longhurst. This is the great run. Former BMW man in the Benson Hedges car. Up the inside comes Wayne Gardner. Now Wayne's on a big charge. Gives Longhurst a bit of a serve. There's bits of broken bodywork flying everywhere.
Richo got the best out of that one.
He sure did.
They're having a fabulous race, and
Tony gives him the signal.
5 of the best for that one, son.
Tony doesn't like that kind of approach.
Gardner went very, very, very deep under brakes into the hairpin that time. 3 or 4 of them tried to squeeze through. Hasn't improved his position. Dick Johnson's coming through on the charge. Gardner tries to do it again. Very, very aggressive competitor.
Nothing wrong with that. I think the brakes locked up and Gardner was going into the turn whether he liked it or not.
Paul Morris locked in this battle now with Jimmy Richards in the Diet Coke Commodore. Another one of the V8 engine Larry Perkins cars. And we go aboard Wayne Gardner. Wayne Gardner's car number 4 with 7 race cam, and just see our 87 world champion at work, bashing his way up through the cogs of the Hollinger 6-speed box.
That's a little look over. Thanks, Wayne. Yes, we're monitoring your progress and keeping an eye on going down through the gears and the footwork associated with keeping him busy here today at Symmons Plains.
Very relaxed driver. You'd think nothing is bothering him. Well,
he's got just about everything going. Look at those lovely foot action. See?
Not so much a heel and toe as a claw and claw, is it?
In desperate need of a podiatrist at the end of this one, let me tell you.
He wanted that extra horsepower on that gas pedal. He's got it.
Okay, problems for John Bow as we come down the front straight, and John Bow is coasting across to the left-hand side of the racetrack.
Meanwhile, Mark Scaife, that was his main challenger, just bolts into the distance. It's virtually daylight back to 2nd position. Peter Brock and Larry Perkins in 3rd. What bad luck for John Bow. The best he's ever done on his home track is 2nd in 1988.
And he's just, by the look of it, pulled off to the left and parked the car just before the bridge.
Here's Perkins not letting up on Brock.
This is a great battle.
Doing everything he can. Glenn Seaton still shadowing both of them. Brocky opening up on the back straight.
Bound through the sweeper again. 260, 270 kilometres an hour in a straight line. Incredibly quick corners. You saw last year when Larry Perkins went off there. He found out in a big hurry. Goes wide under brakes. Brock covers his ground. 2 very, very experienced racers.
Scotty Taylor goes through, and Peter Brock. That dice continues with Larry Perkins in car number 11. And there, going behind the wall, is John Bow. Car just slowed dramatically as it came past us, and Bow pulled it up straight away. So maybe we'll get a report from the team what the problem is. In the meantime, Mark Scaife disappears into the distance. Gap between 1st and 2nd now out to a 7.11 seconds.
Going to be very hard for him to lose this race. And the mechanical superiority that the Winfield car has shown over the last 3 rounds. Here's a go.
Larry Perkins a slightly faster exit from the corner. I think Brocky's still got a bit more in a straight line. Yes, Larry tucks in for the draft as they come through the sweeper once more.
And he's closer this time.
These 2 cars very, very evenly matched, but Larry is just so strong under brakes, isn't he? He goes right up behind Brock's car.
Now he's going to try the inside run here. He's had a bit of a practice run at this before. But good snappy acceleration there from the mobile car.
One thing about Larry, he certainly races clean and races close. Didn't take the opportunity to give him a little nudge there.
No, he didn't run him wide.
They come to go beneath the Dunlop Bridge. They're having a fabulous scrap. So too was John Bow till he exited a lap and a half ago with the latest on there. Let's go to AJ.
Yeah, incredibly bad luck for John Bow. I spoke to team boss Ross Stone. He's not exactly sure what's happened. He thinks he's broken something in the drivetrain, even possibly the gearbox. Still not quite sure.
Okay, thanks, Andy. Bad luck for John Bow.
Look at Larry closing in.
Not giving up here at all. They've got nothing to lose. They know how much they've conserved their tires in the first heat. They're going for broke now. Every lap they can go. Lighter and lighter gas tank, gas fuel load.
Keeping in mind, this is the battle for second spot.
Again, here he comes, trying it. He's going to get his nose clipped here in a minute. Brocky's not backing off. That's very brave. Twice in a row. Good on him, Larry. Not backing off.
It's just so good for the Holden fans to see Peter Brock, 9 times Bathurst winner, Holden hero, no doubt about it. Back to the factory team.
9 times he won it. Really?
Thought you'd like that, Alan?
There's John Bow out with the fans. He's got plenty of them here today, all shaking hands with him as we once again look at the battle for second between Brocky, back at his best this year. Looking in the mirror, says, where's Larry coming from next? Will he inside or outside? One thing you can bank on, he is going to be down one side of him here shortly.
Really is remarkable, the straight line speed of Larry's car. The Holden V8 versus the Chev V8. They're certainly not lacking for top end speed in the back here.
I don't know, he got away from him there. There's number 2. It's getting away from everyone.
Larry's got a very light car. The Formula weight limit is 1,300 kilos, and
let's check him out in the meantime for the Shell race score. Mark Scape leading the event. Peter Brock runs in second, having that fabulous scrap with Larry Perkins in third. Glenn Seaton, the first of the Fords, in fourth. Thomas Becerra is fifth. Here at Symmons Plains, the scrap continues. Brock goes through. The next one behind him is Larry Perkins, then Glenn Seaton and the Peter Jackson Falcon. But listen to the scream of Brock's Chevy V8 as he heads down the back, and Larry catches him up right at the left-hander at Coca-Cola corner and starts to monster him again.
Larry really gives it everything under brakes, doesn't he?
He does, and he's got tremendous car control, as does Peter, and you're seeing 2 professionals at work here with a great display of car control.
They haven't been able to run away that far from Glenn Seaton, but they have provided plenty of entertainment here for the fans as Perkins comes in, sits right in behind Brock, switches a little to the outside, a lot to the outside. They go in under brakes, and he'll try and get him back on the inside on the exit. What's this? But that car of Brock's, the Telecom Mobile Net machine, is very, very fast out of the turns.
Great driving here by both drivers.
Brocky built up a bit of an edge of a couple of car lengths, but here comes Larry down the outside again. Watch this, and he was trying to nudge to get back on the inside.
Peter was resorting.
Half there, that didn't work.
Yeah. He's resorting to some defensive driving at the end of the straight there, just giving Larry an opportunity to try and pull that move again. He can't do it here. He can stay close.
There's more than a nudge there.
That's one tap from Larry to say, I think you're holding the show up, Brocky.
Brock's making that thing as wide as a block of flats.
All right, now Brocky will stay very close to the white line here on the right of screen. Make Larry go around the outside. He's seen him try to do it once before. Yeah. He's a nose in front.
It's gone even deeper this time, but Brock's got to run out of the corner.
And
gets squeezed for spaces to come out. Only Armco on that side of the track.
The 2 veterans playing nip and tuck here today in the 3rd round at Symmons Plains. That hurt Larry in time out of that corner.
While these 2 are putting on this entertaining scrap, Scaife continues to build his lead. It's out to over 9 seconds now.
Well, everyone at Symmons Plains, I'll guarantee you, is watching this scrap between 2 guys who have a wealth of experience between them. They've had a little touch, a little tap, but I dare say they'd be enjoying it as well. Paul Morris goes through. Here's Tony Longhurst behind Thomas Mazzera in the 015 Telecom Mobile Net machine. Just ahead of them is Glenn Seaton. So the pack is closed up behind second, 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th.
Okay, here he comes again. Not quite as close this time. And Brock will have a clear run through the hairpin this time. Although they are definitely touching him. Larry's saying, come on, you are actually holding me up, mate. I've got better brakes than you, and I want to use them.
And what's happening is, visually, you can see the rest of the field are picking them up. Yes. Watch as they come through the sweeper. There's Seaton. Next is Thomas Mazzera. Tony Longhurst doing a fabulous job. To the end at Coca-Cola turn again.
16 laps out of 26. Escape comes across the start-finish line.
One more like that. Larry is, I don't know how many door handles these cars have got, but they're starting to run out of them. Brock's best position here in the championship so far, and he's certainly not going to relinquish it without a fight.
Fascinating battle here with the tyre boys too. Brock on Bridgestones, Larry on Dunlop. Both of them seem to be hanging in there.
And Mark Scaife, of course, up the front on the Yokies.
Whoa, crunch!
There you are. Sorry about that, but I'll just zip down here on the inside. Sorry about that, Brocky gets it sideways on the exit. Glenn Seaton starts to catch them again. This is great.
Larry is getting cheeky now, and he's resorting to...
I think his brakes may be going away from him too. He was really just so late there. Just rolled right up to the back of Brock's car, gave him another nudge, even put the inside wheels up on the concrete.
He's weaving a little bit there. You could be on it, Mark.
I don't think Brock's concerned about it at all. I haven't seen a fist out the window or even a finger.
No, I think he's got both hands on the wheel today.
And there's nothing Glenn Seaton can do about this in 4th place. Normally when two cars are carving each other up, the guy trying to catch or the guy trying to pull away makes some impressions, but Glenn Seaton just cannot get close to them. Tony Longhurst comes through, then Jimmy Richards and Thomas Mazzera. It's been a wretched day for Thomas. He was so quick in qualifying on Friday and Saturday, and he's really dropped out of the fight.
Here's another dart. Larry elected to stay on behind. Didn't have enough length alongside Peter on that occasion. Brocky throwing it a little around the back. He's certainly looking in his rearview mirror there saying, "Get away from me, you hound."
So Larry, there's nothing between these two cars. He's just
here he comes.
Every ounce of aerodynamic efficiency he possibly can, but there's just not enough. That HRT Chevy's got so much grunt in a straight line. Just can't match him on the terminal speed.
Tries to zip down the inside.
He's going to lean on him here one of these times. It's inevitable.
Shades of Wayne Gardner and Alan Jones here 12 months ago. You're just expecting someone to get a tap, and they're doing it very, very cleanly.
7 laps to go.
Well, there's still plenty of time for anything to happen.
And the way Larry is really starting to throw the car around, it's getting quite ragged coming out of the corners. Plenty of oversteer.
This is the battle for second in this race, and 3rd overall in points today. Scaife will win that. No doubt about it, and Seat will probably pick up 2nd. This will be the scrap for 3rd overall in points. Peter Brock and Larry Perkins at their vintage best.
Look at Peter, he just looks up in the mirror and it was a really good look.
Tony Longhurst has joined the back bumper bar of Glenn Seaton, so this battle is getting the field compressed a bit.
It's a good drive from Tony Longhurst. Think of the amount of time these guys have had to knock this car into shape. He's up there giving last year's touring car champion a bit of a hurry up. That's a great effort. Larry all over the back of Brock. He goes inside, he goes outside. He's running out of options.
So I think maybe that wasn't the best line at time, but he was trying to second-guess Brock. 6 laps to go.
Look at Tony Longhurst now moving in for the kill on the Peter Jackson Falcon.
Longhurst has definitely got the measure of Glenn here at the moment. This is the best performance we've seen from the Benson and Hedges car.
They go inside with SDP Race Cam aboard Glenn Seaton's Falcon, looking out under the wing. Meanwhile, Larry Perkins is like a carbon copy lap after lap. There's very little he can do about this, unless Brock makes a big mistake.
They're few and far between, but Tony Longhurst pulls to the inside in the Benson and Hedges Commodore and takes Glenn Seaton going down.
Oh, that's very, very close. Glenn must have been just slightly slower into the corner that gave Tony the edge.
Into the tyres and out again, Thomas Mazzera. 5 laps to go, leader across the strike. And Glenn Seaton trying to pull that spot back from Tony Longhurst. And just ahead of them, we have this fabulous scrap between Peter Brock and Larry Perkins for 2nd.
This is the most aggressive driving we've seen in the championship to date. And Larry is doing a superb job here. It is so hard to drive when you can't see anything but bumper bar in front of you.
Now look, Larry's closer than he's been in a couple of laps. He goes out once again. Brock covers the natural line into the corner. Both standing hard on the middle pedal.
He didn't leave him any room there, I'll tell you.
No result. He goes for the inside run this time. Just not enough in a straight line.
I'll tell you what, at the speed of Tony Longhurst, these two have been having a scrap. Now Perkins tries to pick it up, switches to the outside. Now if he can pass Brock here, maybe if, but he's got him for the right side. Perkins down the inside of Brock here, hard under brakes.
He can't lose this now. He's there.
Got the nose of the Commodore pointing into the hot mix. He was giving it everything there under brakes, and it paid off for him. Brock gets shuffled back a position.
Beautiful driving.
Now it's Mark Scape, Larry Perkins in second, Peter Brock in third, Tony Longhurst, great effort that in fourth, Jimmy Richards and Glenn Seaton slipping back through the pack. There must be a problem with the Peter Jackson Ford, I suspect.
Yes, an unfortunate day for the Fords here today.
Great effort from Larry. Look at Tony Longhurst. It's been a long time since we've seen Tony fighting for an outright position. He's got himself into a V8 this year to do just that. And boy, he's got... Oh, look at Larry's got everything.
Oh, hang on to it, Larry!
He's done it.
Yeah, everything, the tyres and the brakes are getting pretty tight on the Castrol Commodore. Maybe just asked a bit too much from that time, Alan.
Classic example of brake fade, Mark. It just got a little dancy in the rear, and he was running out of real estate in front of him. He had to spin it.
So if he had a face cam on Rocky now, he'd have a grin about from ear to ear.
3 laps to go. Race leader still Mark Scape.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Tui's red replay shows it just got away from Larry. Rocky got on the binder, so too Tony. They were able to all get through on the inside. So Brock now runs in second, but Longhurst, will he be able to mount a challenge before the race is over? And there is our race leader, Mark Scafe. He's been out in front, well in front here today, but we've been following most of the action behind him. Scafe makes the exit to the hairpin and gets away from the field going down the back straight.
This really is an outstanding example of the quality and professionalism of Freddie Gibson's team. A lot was said when these guys were running the GTR that it was purely the car that was giving them the advantage. Now they've got an equal equipment. They're showing the class of the field.
That's the gap back to our race leader to second spot, Peter Brock. Third is Tony Longhurst. There is Mark Scafe coming around past the pits with 2 laps to go. So Mark's doing that very comfortably. Mark has won the first 2 rounds of this year's championship.
Great battle on for second behind Mark Scafe. He's got the lead out to something like 12 seconds now, so he's just been building on that lap after lap.
And Nigel Greenway, our statistician, was telling me if Mark wins this race, he'll join Alan Moffat and Peter Brock as the only men to have won the first 3 rounds of a series. Moffat did it twice out, 1977. That's when you scored 5 in a row, and 73. All 3 occasions Moffat and Brock won the title. So I dare say that Scafe's on the way. He's got a class act and is a class act in the championship this year.
There's a really good battle on behind Mark Scafe, though. For second place, Tony Longhurst is giving Peter Brock plenty as they come down the back straight that time. Last lap for Mark Scafe. One more lap of this 2.41 kilometre circuit.
We'll wait for them to come through because the spot between these 2 is on again, so it's Larry Perkins revisited for Brocky.
Look at Longhurst all over him. This car is performing particularly well. Larry Perkins built Commodore, the Larry development Chevy engine in it, Yokohama tyres. They've knocked it into shape pretty fast. Boy, it's doing the job here.
I'd say Tony's knocked it into shape pretty quickly too.
Sure has.
And Jimmy Richards coming up through the pack with Glenn Seaton fading there, but he'll get to finish.
This is Tony's last chance. Last time through the hairpin. Let's see if he can do anything up the straight. Oh, here we go, the drag race. And he's in front.
He's pulled straight across the front. Sorry, Pete, but you picked them up where you picked them up.
That was a very impressive move by Tony Longhurst under brakes. Very clean.
They come down as Mark Scafe now, and car number 2 coming down the front straight away, takes the checkered flag. Scafe has gone on to win the first 3 rounds of the championship. We've seen a great scrap for second here today. The man is going to pick the pieces up and thoroughly deserve seconds. Tony Longhurst, a great drive in the Benson and Hedges Commodore. 3rd will go to Brock, 4th to Richards, and 5th will go to Glenn Seaton. What a race, and well done, of course, to Mark Scafe and the number 2 Winfield Commodore, taking all the applause here today at Symmons Plains International Raceway. Let's check them out for you on our Shell Race Score. Mark Scafe, the winner of round number 3. Tony Longhurst, fabulous drive for 2nd. Peter Brock persisted for 3rd. Jimmy Richards wound up 4th. Glenn Seaton finished in 5th. 6th spot.
They didn't leave you alone.
I had that Kevlar getting nibbled away by various Commodores at different times, and a couple of Falcons too.
The car and the team seem to be coming together quite nicely.
Yes, we took a bit of a gamble today on rubber, and it just hung in there towards the end, and I can say to the boys, Well done, fellas. They did a fantastic job. I've had 3 starts with Holden Racing Team, 3 podium finishes, so I'm wrapped.
In a second place today, congratulations. Next up, Tony Longhurst, 3rd place in the second heat. Are you starting to enjoy this V8 category?
Second place in the second heat.
Second place, should I say, in the second heat. Are you enjoying the V8 category?
The last couple of races have been very hard for us. We've got such a steep learning curve setting the car up, but we made a change between the heats, and I picked up a really fat 2 or 3 tenths, so it made a huge difference.
It's been a busy few weeks. You haven't had much time for testing.
No, we haven't. We only got the car 2 weeks ago, and we've got Indy next weekend, 2 weekends off, then Phillip Island, and then the first of the 2 litre races at Eastern Creek, so a busy schedule for us.
Tony, congratulations. And the winner today, and he really has dominated the 5 litre series thus far, Mark Scaife, congratulations. I said it to you earlier, but now it's 6 from 6. Well done.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. Obviously, the car's going very, very well. The package is good. The tyre worked again. The Yokohama tyre worked really well again today. And we've had 3 meetings now, and we used the same tyre. Fantastic.
Some of the people said the Fords would find some of these early tracks a little bit difficult. You guys are hopeful not. You guys are just hopeful of keeping on your winning ways.
Well, again, there's nothing in all the cars, and there's, as I said before qualifying, there was, half a dozen cars within nothing. So the rest of the series will just be just like that.
Scapey had the traction well under control today. No worries.
No problem.